Qing's novella Beauty on the Crossroads, preface by Hu Lancheng. Qing has no taboos, and the article is as secular as she is as a person. Qing is from Ningbo. Ningbo people are hot-tempered and rarely corrupt, but they are also rarely so radical as to lead revolution. They just love a lively, rich and healthy life. I visited Ningbo many years ago, and the impression I got was that there were a lot of delicacies there, and the goods were piled high, but it was not like Shanghai. People in Shanghai were easily overwhelmed by the torrent of goods, otherwise they would become cynics. But people in Ningbo have a kind of self-confidence. They are rather domineering, but because they have the foundation, they are not like the people in the barren mountains of Xinjiang County who gamble with their own destiny. They are bold and composed, and have a positive outlook on life. No matter where they go, in Shanghai or abroad, there is always a romantic atmosphere. This kind of romantic atmosphere is originally found in medieval cities such as Shaoxing, Hangzhou, Suzhou, and Yangzhou, but Ningbo people are more realistic, so their romance is only ambition. It is prose, not poetry. The people of Ningbo since the end of the 19th century are as like the Europeans who came to America earlier to pioneer. If you want to find the shortcomings of Ningbo people, it is that their lives lack an aftertaste. Corresponding to this atmosphere of life, Qing is a dynamic prose writer, but not a poet. Qing was born in a wealthy family, and her grandfather owned thousands of acres of land, but I have never heard her say that. And I don't know if her family is still in business. I guess she was in business earlier, and became a landlord from wealthy merchants. Ningbo is still the gateway from eastern Zhejiang to Shanghai. The convection of fish, salt, silk, tea, leather and foreign goods from eastern Zhejiang with foreign goods from Shanghai has given Ningbo experts an opportunity to rise. There are also sailing and steamship companies. They are exuberant and lively. Ningbo people have such an emerging citizen atmosphere. Although Qing's grandfather was a civil servant, he also belonged to this emerging group of citizens. Qing, who grew up in this environment, is passionate and straightforward. Her background is solid, so her talent allows her to take risks. And that risk is also a normal risk. And because she was not born as a young lady from a rich man's mansion in Shanghai, her attitude towards life is more serious. Nor was she born as a young lady from an official family in the late Qing dynasty, so her attitude towards life was relatively clear. Her enthusiasm and straightforwardness are what Zhang Ailing said about her works, great simplicity. Her articles have something in common with Jo's Warren's, which is plainness. However, Jo's Warren's is plain and light, while hers is plain and lively. Her life is an ordinary one. She has been a daughter-in-law, raised children, and is now engaged in a career. She was naughty when she was young, but lively when she grows up. And she is capable but naive. Her school life, family life, and social life all have a favorable impression on her because they are real life. Although she often offends those around her, she is neither angry nor inferior in her heart. She couldn't imagine what she would do if everything around her collapsed. She couldn't bear the emptiness in her life. She scolded this unreasonable society like a mother scolding a disobedient child. At the same time, she has the innocence of a daughter. She contradicts others, but still firmly believes that they will forgive her. And they really forgive her. Although she also complained, she always lived happily. Qing was unwilling to be lonely, so she always stayed with her 3 friends. But she doesn't like to associate with people who have a higher soul than her, because she doesn't have the habit of putting herself in a threatened position. She is a wild horse, but not an eagle in the sky or a lion in the desert. She is afraid of desolation. She was afraid of deep and big shocks. She also doesn't like to associate with people who are less knowledgeable than her, because she has never thought of leading others or atone for the sins of mankind. I also don't like to interact with women because I'm not used to trivial matters. Although people don't know much about her, they are willing to be friends with her and share some of the excitement of life from her. She also doesn't understand others very well. She only views others from a very realistic point of view. And this is exactly the demeanor of Ningbo people. When people in Ningbo do business, they don't need to check what the other party is thinking. However, as long as the transaction is fair and the procedures are complete, then it is settled. Other than that, there is no need to what else can explain life and the world. so she easily treats others as good people. In the world she lives in, there are many good people, but it is impossible to imagine that there are noble and great people. There are also miserable people, but she only understands that they are suffering, but does not understand their misfortunes. There are also hateful people, but to her, abominations are abominations. Everything is so simple and clear. She likes to talk, and when you are with her, you can only hear her talking and talking, but not nagging. Listening to her talk, I often don't get any inspiration, but I am infected with the vitality and enthusiasm of real life from her. I feel that life can be ranged, not threatening, not dark, not particularly bright. Just plain and simple. Her style is almost naturalistic, but it is not that cold, so there is no ruthless care for life that comes from the cold. She could make wisecracks, but none of them meant anything she said. Her appearance is also strong and neat. Her nose is a nose, and her mouth is a mouth. She has an irreproachable oval face, handsome eyes and eyebrows, and she has a boyish handsomeness. There is no criticism, because although the lines on the face are not hard, they have a hard feeling. But when she was reading and writing, in the cold light of the desk lamp without a cover, half darkened on the side, her beauty gained a new kind of maturity and completion. It was so quiet and lively, like the red of the bamboo beside the candle. Beads. Her divorce makes it easy for people to view her as romantic, but she is not. Her divorce had several psychological components. One was a girl's anger towards life, not a betrayal of life. The other was an adult's understanding, feeling that things had to be arranged this way, so she arranged it this way. The difference between her and Nora is that Nora had no choice in leaving, but Qing left peacefully. So although her divorce is also a risk, it is a normal risk. She left her family, but she needed her family very much. Although she did a good job and could ask for nothing from others, she felt lonely. She wants a career, friends, and a family. The life she wants is lively and real. She has a considerate, financially responsible husband, a few clean and smart children, and her parents-in-law, sisters-in-law, as long as she can get along with them. And she also has friends. She can make snacks for them. You can write articles besides doing housework. This is her simple thought. Sometimes it seems that she is timid. She is afraid of hardship, danger, and all insignificant things. She dare not even think about gambling with fate, because she lives in an era. Only people who have lived in all eras dare to throw their fate at risk and do what others think is gambling. But it is still not a slim chance. What seems to be negative in one era has its affirmation in all eras. But Qing is healthy and fulfilled after all, because she is secular. She has no inhibitions. Last winter, Shen Qiwenin came to me and praised Qing's 10 years of marriage. She said that the good thing about her was that she was passionate and could forget herself when writing, as if she had no taboos when writing about a third party. I completely agree with his praise. Qing's articles are not bound by tradition not only in content, but also in form, and are not artificial at all. Her heart is pure. She gave me a copy of the newly published Huanjin collection. I have read the articles in it in general, and I think it is the best and most complete prose about women's life since the May 4th movement. It is so rational and yet so true. There are few aphorisms in her articles, but they are full of substance. It's not that any one of her articles is particularly good, but that all her articles combined make up her entire style. I wrote a little bit about her as a person, or something that would be helpful for readers to understand her. I wonder what Qing thinks.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.